Amigos de película, ¿cómo están? Los saluda Gaby Cam. No sé ustedes, pero yo estoy ansiosa de que Disney Plus llegue a Latinoamérica y ya por fin ese momento está aquí. 17 de noviembre podremos disfrutar de todo el contenido que tiene para nosotros esta plataforma.
Okay, everybody, let's take it from the top.
Something's happening.
Something exciting.
Y para hablar particularmente de lo que Marvel tiene deparado para nosotros en Disney Plus, tengo en la línea a nada más y nada menos que el hombre responsable de todo el futuro de los superhéroes en el universo cinematográfico. Estoy hablando de Kevin Feige, presidente de Marvel Studios. Hello, how are you?
I'm good. How are you doing?
I have to say it's just an honor to have you here right now. Thank you so much for your time. Since I started watching all the preview content for Disney Plus, I've realized that I started looking at all the Marvel stuff just in a different way. Right now, I'm actually staring at my Captain America shield that I have in my wall. And I realized that, you know, superheroes are a huge part of pop culture. They are everywhere, no matter where in the world you are. I'm in Mexico. And how does someone survive the responsibility of carrying that with you without going mad?
Well, it's well, I just have to say it's fun, right? I can't deny that. It's fun. It's a dream come true, and you know, all we're trying to do is justice to the amazing creations of the people who came before us. I mean, what Stan Lee and Jack Kirby and Steve Ditko did 40, 50 years ago in creating these characters that have kept their relevance because they're passed from, you know, one creative person to another is an amazing tradition. And in my 20 years at Marvel and in the 12, 13-year history of Marvel Studios, it's a place full of people who are just trying to do justice to these great characters. And part of doing justice to the characters is evolving them and growing them and adapting them for audiences around the world and for the changing times.
Okay, wow. You've done a great job. And you know, fans here in Latin America have been waiting for so long to get their hands in Disney Plus. So let's say I'm a fan with a remote in my hand about to play it for the first time. How would you welcome me and brief me on the experience of Disney Plus?
Well, it's amazing, and of course I'll focus on the marvel of it all, but it is a beautiful thing to sign on to Disney Plus and to have all of these tiles, as they call them, which are really portals or doorways into the greatest entertainment worlds possible. And right in the middle, you'll see a little Marvel tile, and you hit that, and you go into the Marvel Cinematic Universe. And the layout is beautiful, and you can watch all of Phase 1, all of Phase 2, all of Phase 3, almost the entirety of the Infinity Saga is right there. And you can look at it. What I love is fans can go back and watch the movies for the 10th or 20th time and discover new things. And hopefully, as has certainly been the case in the countries where Disney Plus has already launched, new fans come into it. So many people have told me that they've spent their time these last few months, when a lot of people have time on their hands at home, catching up and immersing themselves in the MCU, which is quite fun. And I think Disney Plus is an amazing way to experience it over and over again. And what a great way to know, what a great thing to have to know that these shows coming out, and of course our movies after they're in theaters, will be right on Disney Plus. So it's a pretty amazing world to have in sitting on your couch with your remote. We work pretty hard so that people can sit on their couch and have a world of entertainment at their fingertips.
Now I know what I'm going to be doing from November 17 on for the rest of my life, apparently. You know, well, I love we're going to get to see a little bit more of some characters that we got to see them in the cinematic universe, but how different is it to create content for a platform such as Disney Plus? And why, I mean, what was the criteria to choose the characters we're going to see in Disney Plus, like Falcon or the Winter Soldier, Wanda, Vision, and all of that?
Well, believe it or not, it's coming up on 3 years that we've been working on these shows for Disney Plus. So 3 years ago, as we were finishing Avengers: Infinity War and working towards the finale of Avengers: Endgame, we were told about what would become Disney Plus and asked to start working on series for it. And it really was the perfect platform at the perfect time for us, because we were trying to figure out what was next and where to evolve the cinematic universe after Endgame. And having this new platform, this new medium, gave not only a sort of a burst of new creative enthusiasm throughout the entire studio, but also allowed us to take these characters with these spectacular actors that have done great work for us in, you know, a handful of scenes in a movie here and there, and actually just hand them the full creative reins of storytelling, and be able to dive into, as you say, the Scarlet Witch and Vision in the show WandaVision, which tonally and stylistically is something we could only do on sort of a long form narrative on Disney Plus. Loki, who's one of our most beloved characters, we felt deserved his own extremely unique storyline on Disney Plus, and of course Falcon and Winter Soldiers.
That's amazing. I mean, there's one project I really want to talk about, which is Marvel 616. I got to see 3 chapters, and I really loved it. I think it's a love letter to all the Marvel fans. And so how did you guys come up with this idea?
That was in the works, again, for years. We've got 12 years of behind the scenes footage from the movies and almost 80 years of history of the comics. And they made a deal with some spectacular documentary filmmakers to tell those stories and to bring those stories to a wider audience, thanks to Disney Plus. The history of Marvel, as you know, is remarkably interesting and goes back decades and decades. And I think it's actually, I love what you said, it's a love letter to the fans, and it's a love letter to Marvel's past. And I'm excited for new fans to get to immerse themselves in that and learn about the history.
And, you know, being the head of Marvel Studios, I can only imagine that you have a little bit of these people in yourself. You know, all these people who are like obsessed with Marvel and find somehow a sense of belonging in Marvel. Do you see yourself in all of them as a fan?
Well, I've always said that if I wasn't making these movies, then I would be lining up to see them. If I wasn't working on these Disney Plus series, I'd be subscribing to it and anxiously awaiting them. So I've always been very lucky to spend my time working on something that I love and would be engaging with, whether I was paid to do so or not.
Thank you so much for your time, Mr. Feige.
Thank you.
You have magic.